Chairman Sellers and Supervisor Gates, thank you for being here today. You are both lifelong Republicans. Mr. Gates, I understand that you even founded a teenage Republican Party while you were in high school, and I don't think anyone would question either of you for your long-held allegiance to the Republican Party. Yet you have both been outspoken messengers that the 2020 election was safe, secure, and fair, even when that message has brought you into conflict with members of your own party. Nearly every Republican in the Arizona State Senate voted to hold both of you in contempt for standing up against the Cyber Ninja audit. One Republican state senator called for the entire Maricopa board to be arrested and put in solitary confinement. My question for you, Supervisor Gates, why have you chosen to speak out so forcefully on this issue, even against some members of your own party?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. It hasn't been easy to do this. I have been a lifelong Republican, and I'm proud to be a Republican. But I'm also a member of the Board of Supervisors, and as was mentioned earlier, the Board of Supervisors took more authority in running elections in 2020 because we wanted to run an excellent election, and we believe that that's what has happened here. But the problem is that as people have been distorting what happened in this election, I have no problem with people raising questions. What I have a problem with is people going to the lengths, as you mentioned. We had gone to court to get direction from a Superior Court judge on whether we had the legal authority to turn the ballots over. We had asked for an expedited hearing, and despite that, the Arizona State Senate was one vote away from holding us in contempt and most likely detaining us. That was wrong. It was also wrong, once they had the ballots, in my opinion, to conduct an audit with auditors who had no elections experience, and then also auditors who clearly had a preconceived notion. I don't have a problem with audits. I had concerns with this particular audit, and that's why I'm speaking out.
And Chairman Sellers, what about you? Why are you speaking out today?
When I first got on the Board of Supervisors, we were in the process of taking the parts of the election process back that we could, because we'd had some issues with elections in the past couple of elections, people waiting in lines for 4 or 5 hours and those kind of things. And the interesting thing to me was that every step of the way, we ensured that we were staying within the U.S. and the Arizona Constitution on everything we did. When we were faced with a pandemic and had to change the way we were going to run the election from a precinct-based model to a vote center model, we again went back to the political parties, to the Secretary of State, to the governor, to the Attorney General, and got their agreement on everything we were doing, that it was legal and going to provide us with a safe, secure election going forward.
Thank you. Reclaiming my time, I have very limited time. Mr. Sellers and Mr. Gates, you faced pressure to support President Trump's big lie even before the audit started. On Christmas Eve last year, former President Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, called both Mr. Sellers and Mr. Gates as part of Trump's pressure campaign to try to overturn the election results in Arizona. Neither of you picked up, so he left a voicemail message. I'd like to play one of those voicemails now that Mr. Giuliani left for Chairman Sellers. May we hear the audio now, please?
Hi, Rudy Giuliani, President Trump's attorney, calling. I'm hoping we could have a chance to have a conversation. I'd like to see if there's a way that we could resolve this so it comes out well for everyone. We're all Republicans. I think we all have the same goal. Let's see if we can get this done outside of the courts. Gosh. Okay, call me anytime. No problem. Bye.
Mr. Giuliani said, and I quote, we're all Republicans. I think we all have the same goal. I'd like to ask you, Supervisor Gates, what do you think that goal was? And you got a similar call where he said he asked you to, quote, get this thing fixed up, end quote, and saying, quote, I think there may be a nice way to resolve this. What do you think Mr. Giuliani wanted you to do?
Madam Chair, just a point of order real quick. I hope I'm going to be extended the same courtesy to go beyond the 5-minute limit.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair, that voicemail was left at a time, we were in litigation with the state Senate over turning over the ballots in the election machines. I think he was trying to get us to settle that lawsuit so that they could very quickly get the ballots in advance of the January 6th certification of the Electoral College.
And why was this so important? What was Mr. Giuliani's ultimate goal? What do you think his ultimate goal was?
Well, I can't speculate on that, but I think that he wanted to look at the evidence and see if there was evidence to support not certifying the election.
And I want to thank you both. My time is up, and the many other state and local officials who stood up to Trump's pressure campaign and turned back his efforts to overturn a free and fair election. The late Senator from Arizona, John McCain, once said, and I quote, "We are Americans first, Americans last, Americans always." I agree. We are Americans before we are members of any political party. Chairman Sellers and Supervisor Gates, I hope other Republicans, including my colleagues in Congress, follow the example that you set today. I want to thank you for your testimony. Thank you so much. I now recognize